So we're going Chat GPT and give me secret tips on how to get better at Valorant. And this is the result. I got 6 tips. So number 1, practice. The more you play the game, the better you'll become at it. Make sure to regularly play matches and try out different strategies to see what works best for you. I think this is a very well-known tip. I don't think it's very secret. It's a good tip. I think everyone can agree that you gotta play a lot of the game to actually be good at the game. You're never gonna be good at the game if you just play one game every 3-4 days. So it's not secret, but it's a good tip. I don't know what to say about it. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. I mean, it's a good tip, but it's not really like some secret. Number 2, pay attention to your positioning in Valorant. Okay, position. It's a good tip. It's important to always be aware of your surroundings, and the position yourself is a way that gives you the best possible advantage over your opponents. Now, what is correct, it doesn't really say much, because it says positioning, but what about positioning? Some people are like way too close to their teammates to the point where like they're just not doing anything, and at the same time some are just way too far away. I don't know, it's not very specific. Obviously you should pay attention to positioning, I agree, right? But could be more specific. I think it's on a case by case basis. Just so 6 out of 10 only because it's not that common sense, I guess. Actually 5 out of 10 because, you know, it's not very specific. Communicate with your team. Yes, very important. Communication is key in any time-based game, and Valorant is no exception. I agree. Make sure to communicate with your teammates and coordinate your strategies to increase your chances of winning. It's a very known thing, but at the same time, people don't do it, including myself sometimes. So, I guess you can call it a secret. I don't know. It's like, it's known, but at the same time, it's so known that people just like overlook it at some point. So I think this is gonna, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Actually, 8 out of 10. Learn the maps. Okay, well, fair. Yeah, I mean, not very secret. Each map in Valorant has its own unique layout and strategies. Okay. Make sure to learn the layout of each map and familiarize yourself with the best places to position yourself and set up ambushes. Ambushes? Now, I think it's getting a bit confused with like League of Legends and all that. So you should learn the maps, yeah, 100%. But ambushes, I don't know about ambushes. And obviously, it's not very secret, right? Like, I think it's common knowledge that you should learn the map that you're playing on. It's a decent tip. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Only because it's not really a tip, I guess. Or like, it kind of is, but not really. I don't know. Experiment with different weapons and loadouts. Well, what do you mean loadout? Did it mean loadout as in like, you know, on pistol rounds, what do you buy? Or on ecos, what do you buy? As in util. I guess that's fine. Valorant has a wide range of weapons and abilities to choose from. I mean, kind of to choose from. I don't know if you really choose your abilities. You don't pick abilities and like, I want Jet Dash and then Chamber TP and then Raise Satchels. I don't think it works like that. So maybe the wording is not the best. And different loadouts work better in different situations. Experiment with different combinations and see what works best for you. Combinations? I guess that's fine. Obviously learn the weapons, that's important. I don't know, I feel like this is a 4 out of 10 again. Mainly grading them on how good of a tip is and how secret it is, right? I think that was the whole point. And so far they're not really secret. Also learn from others. Okay, I'm guessing this is like VODs and everything. One of the best ways to improve at Valorant is to watch and learn from other skilled players. Okay, yeah. You can find professional players streaming their matches on platforms like Twitch. Don't shout out Twitch, also shout out to my Twitch. Or you can watch highlight reels and instructional videos to pick up new tips and tricks. Yeah, I think that's well known. Well, I guess it's less known than learning the maps. So it's a good tip. Obviously, I watch pro players and sometimes not pro players, or like quote unquote coaches as they call themselves, which I think it's very important, because obviously you don't know everything, right? If you would know everything, you would be the best in the game. So it's important to always look at others. For example, recently I started playing Killjoy again, and I never played Killjoy on Fracture. So what I did was I went on VLR and then I searched for a recent pro game. I think it was like Turkish League something, and they played Fracture, and I stole 2 setups on defense from it. So it's not that much, but you know, it's a good thing to start. I hope these tips help you on your journey to become a better Valorant. Thank you, ChatGPT. But yeah, overall they're decent tips. I suppose they're not very secret, which is, I guess, makes sense, because it wouldn't know if they were secret. I was gonna say something about experimenting with different weapons and loadouts, which is somewhat similar, is go in custom games. People just ignore custom games. And I told my friend once, if you don't have a lot of time, instead of playing 3 games per day, play 2 games per day. Or, well, play 3 games most of the days, and then on some days, only play 2 games, and take the time that you would spend playing 1 game, going into custom games, and throwing in and coming up with stuff. And he always says, well, I might as well play the game because I need to get better at the game. But let's say you're Raze, right? And you don't really know where to nade. Let's say we're on Haven, we're going A. You don't really know where to nade from short, let's say. And in ranked, you just throw your nade randomly, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And you're like, oh, well, it feels kind of uncomfortable, but I guess it kind of works. But you could just take 5 to 10 minutes in a custom game and throw nades from short until you find a good nade that you think will work. And you can just, or a few actual nades, not just one, so you can change it up, you know. It's important to change things up. And then you don't need to spend all your time and waste a lot of nades in ranked trying to figure out how to nade properly, when you can just spend 5 to 10 minutes learning that. So I think the most secret tip I can give personally is going into custom games and exploring, right? Like coming up with stuff. Maybe it doesn't make sense, right? Maybe you don't really think like what you're doing is good in the custom game, and you think, oh, it probably wouldn't work out. Just try and rank, right? It's better to think about something and try it out than to never think about anything and just go with whatever happens. Because let's say the thing that you're trying to do is bad. Okay, now you learn it's bad. Instead of having to go into a rank game and then not having any clue what you're doing,